I want to welcome everybody to Let's Talk ICT. This has been an ongoing series this year where we talk about different aspects of access with electronic documents and access to things that are put up on the web. And today's session, we're talking about doing it yourself, captioning for a video file and putting it up on places like Facebook or YouTube or Vimeo, or even maybe on a website. And I'm going to go through just a couple things. If you're new to our session, typically we hold questions and answers till the end. And so you'll see that you've been muted. You can leave questions in the in the chat box if you'd like, and we'll scroll through that. We will also, this day is different than the other sessions. We are doing a raffle at the end for those of you participating today. I have if you can see here, I have a little box and I'm going to be writing everybody's name down on these little pieces of paper. And I will be pulling one of those names out at the end. And the winner will receive a robotic pet. We have these really neat devices in our agency that responds to touch and movement. And so it'll be a fun little piece of assistive technology for you to win. So let's move on to the next slide. And I'd like to introduce today, I'm Eileen Belton, by the way, with Missouri Assistive Technology. I'm a program coordinator here in our agency. We also have a special guest presenter today who's Carrie Logback. She's a professional captioner. She has her own business called CCC Services. And today we're just very fortunate and blessed to have her talk to you a little bit about the captioning tool that she wants to share with you, and about captions and how to do that. Captioning is important. If you upload a video file on any of those platforms that I've mentioned earlier, it must be captioned. It is a requirement, and it really, it's smart for two reasons. One, you obviously increase access to an individual that is deaf or hard of hearing. And also you expand your audience for those that, for example, on a Facebook app, somebody might be scrolling through, and if your video pops up and they have all their sound muted, their media sound option is muted, they won't hear a thing that's on your video. The chances of them dwelling longer on your video because you have captions go up tremendously. And so that's another benefit to adding captions. Obviously not the main reason why we're talking about it today, because access is primary. But it does help you if you are working with a customer base. The things you want to know about captioning when you're doing it yourself are basically these things we have listed. When you're captioning, you'll need to identify the speaker. If there's more than one, you identify when the speaking changes to another person. And in the video that we'll show this morning, you'll see an example of that. It's very simple. You'll also want to, as you're doing your own captions, edit them. There is a distinct difference when somebody uses an auto-generated option that's left unedited versus when a person's hand is on it that's capitalized names and capitalized the agency or business name, and also caught mispronunciations. Editing makes a difference. Captioning should also capture atmosphere sounds. For example, if it's a video of, say, a new bakery is opened up and the newscaster is there at the bakery sampling a piece of a delicacy that's been made for them, and the expected outcome is going to be that they're delighted and it's very good. What if all of a sudden when they're taking a bite and the close-up is on them and there's something that's gone on that you don't know what's happening and they make a horrible face? If there's a sound that influenced that face, you'll want to know that. Otherwise, you'll assume that what they tasted was not very good. So this simple, silly example, but atmosphere sounds explain what's going on in the video, but it also is all inclusive. You include them in everything that's happening in your video. Captions, the transcript should also be timed with the speaking. And so there is a timing piece that you'll be able to adjust on some of the tools we're talking about today. And the other thing about captioning is what appears on the line should be a few lines at a time. and Carrie will reference a count to you in the video. So those are basics on captioning. I'm going to turn it over now to Carrie, and she'll talk with you a little bit about the tool she uses. And Carrie, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks, Eileen.
You're welcome.
And I'm seeing that gray box on your slide. I don't know if you maybe have captions on. I'm seeing a couple of gray boxes over the slides. Maybe I'm the only one. But in any event, thank you for inviting me to help you present today. And Eileen has done a lot of legwork on, and she will demonstrate to you how to utilize YouTube and even Facebook, their sort of auto captioning and auto sync features. They've really come a long way, especially in the past year. It used to be that I would provide a text file of something that I had captioned to a client who would upload it to YouTube, and they would let YouTube auto sync that text to the YouTube video for captions. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it wouldn't. Sometimes that auto sync, just for whatever reason, if there's song lyrics or someone had a heavy accent, it wouldn't, that auto sync feature just would not line up the text correctly. It has gotten so much better in the past year, as I said. But so sort of my backup method to that YouTube auto transcribe and edit that and auto sync is a free software app called ICT. And it's free open source software. You don't need an account. You just download this app onto your either your PC or your Mac, and you open your video, and then you can basically from scratch add your captions to your video. It's great for short videos. Excuse me just a second. It's great for shorter videos. Didn't anticipate that phone ringing. And we have a video of me demonstrating how to add captions using this ICT that I think Eileen's going to play. And then if you have any questions, well, I'll come back after and I can answer them. But it's just a real introductory in how to do it. So let's just take a look. And Eileen, if you want to start that. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I need to talk through this a little bit.
So yeah, that'd be great. And then it'll be the next slide.
Okay. So just
gonna say the gray box that you'll see right now is just me muting myself and unmuting myself.
Thank you. So ICT is just one of, there's many resources that you can use to add captions to your videos. Another free one is called Subtitle Edit. Listed there is Joomla. Those are free. The one that I have found to be the most user-friendly to just sort of get in there and do it is ICT. That's why I use that one. Then there's fee-based software that can get pretty pricey. Camtasia is one. I think it's maybe around $250 to purchase that. Caption Tools is a website that's similar to YouTube. It will auto transcribe something for you, and then it has an auto aligner that lines up your text. And I think they charge maybe $1 a minute to use their platform. Caption Maker and Mac Caption are the same software. One is for a PC, one is for a Mac, and it ranges in price from $2,000 to $15,000. So it's pretty pricey software. It's also, I believe, video editing software, but those can be used to create captions. and when I say create captions, I mean put your captions on your video and sync them, and then be able to create the SRT or the VTT file that's used to display captions on a video. Then, of course, there's, this presentation is sort of a do-it-yourself, but there are resources to just pay somebody else to do it for you. And probably the one that I have found that is the cheapest, and they offer a pretty quick turnaround time, and they say they're 99% accurate, is rev.com. I have not ever used them, so I can't endorse them. But if I was going to pay to have a video captioned, I probably would start there, just because it seems to be the most bang for your buck. And just see what the quality is. And then, of course, you can pay like your closed caption provider if you have someone you use to do your real-time captioning. Most providers can also provide offline captioning as well. So I see a couple questions. Let me just, Bobby asks, what language do they use? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Sorry, maybe if you could clarify. Yes, English. I'm not sure if they have translation options, meaning if you can take English text and translate it. I believe Subtitle Edit does have multiple language capabilities. I'm not sure about Agisub because I just have not tried that feature. I caption everything in English, but they do say that captions do benefit English language learners as well. But again, everything I do is I caption in English. So. And with that, Eileen, I think we're ready to watch the quick demo of how to use Agisub to add captions to your video.
All right. So can you hear me speaking?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. I just want to make sure because my computer sound is connected to the video showing.
Okay, this is going to be a quick demonstration of how to create a SRT file for a video with a free open source software called Agisub. I have already downloaded this app on my computer, but I'm going to take you to their website so you can see where to get. It's an open source software. It's free, so anytime you're downloading open source free software, just be very careful where you're downloading it from so that you're not downloading something with a virus. On their website up here, Agisub, it looks like it's this box right here that says latest version 3.2.1. So you can download it there onto your PC. It will run on a Mac or a PC. It crashes on my Mac when I run it on my Mac, so I always run it on my PC, and I save often. So that's where you can download the app Agisub. I already have it on my computer, so I'm going to go to my file manager and find the video that I want to make captions for, and open it in Agisub. So here's the video, this demonstration program. It's an MP4 file. I'm going to right click on that and do an open with Agisub. That's going to open this video that I want to make captions for, and it opens it in Agisub. And a couple things here on the screen. Here's the video. Over here are what I call the sound waves. I am not an Agisub expert. There are lots of tutorials online. They're not great. I think the best way to learn this is just to sort of get in here and do it. So this is just going to be a quick demonstration for you how to do a video, and then I would just encourage you to download Agisub and get a short video and just kind of start playing with it. But over here are the sound waves. that this is going to allow us to highlight chunks of the audio, and then down here we type the text that goes with that chunk of audio, and then we'll commit it when we get it how we want it. We'll commit it, and then that will show up over the video. It'll be time synced with the video where you want that text to appear. First thing I want to do is adjust some things that we can see. You can make the video bigger using these buttons here. So I'm going to get it to where you can see the video, and then I want the text bigger so that you can actually see what the text is going to look like. It's over here under this Edit tab, and we're going to put it at about 40 and see if you can see it. And this is just how it's going to look in Agisub. This does not affect how it's going to look in your Srt file that you're going to upload to, say, YouTube or Facebook. This is just how it's going to appear in Agisub so that we can see it. So I think that's big enough. Everybody can see it. And obviously that's not the correct text. We'll get it corrected here in a moment. So you can play the video this way. There's a little play button here.
Hello, this is Scout with Missouri Assistive Technology, and I heard you were unaware.
But the way we're going to play it so that we can highlight chunks of the audio to add text to it is we're going to use these little sound waves over here. And there's a couple different views. I think the easiest way to highlight the chunks is this view, and you can make these waves. You can spread them out or condense them, and I like to spread it out where you can see these little pauses. These are probably pauses in his dialogue. So you want to be able to see that clearly so that you can select your chunks. So it looks to me like he probably starts talking right about here, and then it looks to me like there's probably a break in dialogue here, and there's probably a break in dialogue here. So let's just go ahead and select a chunk of text. We're going to left click here, which is going to put that red line where we're going to start. And then we're going to go over here, and let's just go ahead and select this little piece here and see how far he gets. So I'm going to I'm going to right click. I left clicked over here for the start, for the red line. I'm going to right click right here. And let's just play that chunk of audio and see what he says.
Hello, this is Scout.
Okay, so that sounds like a good break in text. So
Hello, this is Scout.
I think that sounds good. So I'm going to use this little checkbox right here to commit. It's kind of confusing because there's another checkbox down here, and to be honest, I don't know what that is. But just make sure you're using this one up here. It says commit any pending audio timing changes. So we're going to commit that. And then you'll see the software, Agisub, all automatically goes ahead and highlights the next chunk for you. So here's another chunk of dialogue. Let's just play it and see what it sounds like.
With Missouri Assistive Technology.
And that sounds like another good spot. There's a good break there in his dialogue. So let's go ahead and commit that. And then it's going to go ahead and highlight the next chunk. Let's see what it's highlighted for.
And I heard you were
I think we probably need to hear a little bit more before we break that section. So this part's probably fine. I'm going to actually move it over just a little bit for our start. So I'm going to hit the left click here to drag that red line over. And I want to go over here and go see if I can find a break in his dialogue. I'm going to condense that a little bit so we can see a bigger chunk. Right over here, it looks like a break in his dialogue where he probably pauses. So let's left click over here. So now you can see the chunk I have highlighted is between the red and the blue lines. Let's just listen to that.
And I heard you were unaware of our device demonstration program.
And that sounds like a good break in dialogue. And over here, it looks like 2 lines of text, which is fine. I don't like to go any more than 2 lines of text. Up here, you can see this little box shows how many characters are in that subtitle. I think it's recommended not to go over 52. I don't really pay attention to that. I just sort of try to keep it to 1 or 2 lines for readability. So let's play this chunk again.
And I heard you were unaware of our device demonstration program.
I think that's a good break in his dialogue. So let's go ahead and commit that section and we'll see what Aejasub. So you can see it's selected this little part here, and I don't think that's going to be enough. I think we need to come over to where there's a bigger break in his dialogue. So the starting spot is probably fine, but I'm going to drag the end clear over to here where it looks like there's a pause in his speech, and I'm going to left click there so that it gives me a little bit bigger chunk that's highlighted. Let's play that.
Well, let me tell you, it exists so that you can make an informed decision.
Yep, I like that. It's 58 characters. It looks like it's 2 lines. I think that's probably fine. Let's just play that chunk again.
Well, let me tell you, it exists so that you can make an informed decision.
Yep, I'm going to go ahead and commit that section. Aejasub's going to go ahead and highlight the next section. I think it's going to need to be longer than that, so I'm going to leave the starting spot fine where it is, but I'm going to go over here and drag. I'm going to right click here so that it makes our section a little bit bigger, and let's hear the dialogue.
About what assistive technology is going to best support you or someone that you're helping.
Okay, I'm going to commit that. And I'll let it jump to the next chunk again. I think our section here needs to be a little bit longer, so let's go over here to where it looks like there's a pause in dialogue and right click that. So our starting chunk is here, our ending chunk is here. Let's play that.
So if you were going out to buy glasses, you wouldn't just pick a pair and decide they were right.
I actually want to stop it right after he says, so if you were going out to buy glasses. So let's play this section again, and we're going to adjust this stopping point to where he ends glasses.
So if you were going out to buy glasses, you wouldn't just pick a pair and decide they were right.
Yeah, I moved this. I didn't want to move that, so I'm going to put it back. I'm going to right click over here, I think is where he says glasses. Let's play it.
So if you were going out to buy glasses.
Yep, so I'm going to commit that. So if you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing, and then as we're doing that and committing those lines, it's coming down here with the text and making your time-coded lines. So here's your line of text. Here's the time code that it has used to sync it up to your video. And then if you just sort of want to play the video and see how it looks, you can play it down here.
You wouldn't just pick a pair and decide.
If you select any of these lines, and I'm just using my mouse to select these, but I'm going to select this first line and I want it to start there. So I just select this line and hit play and it'll start.
Hello, this is Scout with Missouri Assistive Technology, and I heard you were unaware of our device demonstration program. Well, let me tell you, it exists so that you can make an informed decision about what assistive technology is going to best support you or someone that you're helping. So if you were going out to buy glasses, you wouldn't just pick.
Okay, so that's where we're at currently. I saw a typo in here, so I want to go back and fix this typo, which is very easy to do. I'm just using my mouse and I'm going to click on this line. I need to capitalize this A. So any of my editing, typing that I want to do, it needs to be done in this box up here. So I'm just simply going to make that a capitalized A and we're good to go. Now what I like to do in this, because it does crash on me occasionally, way more often on my Mac. It doesn't crash often on my PC, but I do like to save it often as I'm going. So I'm going to come up here to this save icon, click it, and I'm just going to call it demonstration. And it will save it in ICT format, which is a .ass file. When we're finished creating our entire caption, when we're done captioning the video, we can save it and export it as an SRT or a VTT format. So I actually have done the video completely already, and I'm going to just go ahead. I'm going to pretend we've already finished this. We've gone through all these chunks to the whole end and typed in our text here and committed each chunk. I'm just going to pretend we've already done that, and I'm going to pull it up, completed, and just let you see what it looks like. I think this is the one that's finished. Open it in ICT. I'm going to open the video that's associated with it. I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see it, and I'll play it so you can see how those captions sync up.
Hello, this is Scout with Missouri Assistive Technology, and I heard you were unaware of our device demonstration program. Well, let me tell you, it exists so that you can make an informed decision about what assistive technology is going to best support you or someone that you're helping. So, if you were going out to buy glasses, you wouldn't just pick a pair and decide they were right without trying them on to make sure they're a good fit. It's the same with assistive technology. Whether you're looking at educational apps on an iPad or higher low-tech vision devices, we have a variety of supports to help you decide what is going to work best. Anything from cause and effect communication to Braille devices to mobility supports and anything in between. We are here to help Missourians make an informed decision. So, if you'd like to know more about this program, please reach out to us at Missouri Assistive Technology. You can find us at www.at.mo.gov.
Okay, so there's your video with your subtitles added. And what you're creating here is the actual subtitle file, which is going to be then uploaded to whatever platform you have put your video on, such as YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo. You're going to upload that SRT file along with that video to those platforms, sort of what they call a sidecar file, so it plays side by side with the video. And you can export this if you need an SRT. You do a file export. Just kind of skip this first screen, click export. And down here it shows you the supported formats. The most common format for Facebook, Vimeo, YouTube is an SRT, which is right here, subrip. So you want to save it as your subrip file. It's probably going to make me name it something else. And then I'm going to exit out of this. And there's our demo subrip file. It's an SRT file, if you can see that. And that's what you would upload along with your video as your SRT file to show captions. I'm going to also show you a different website when I come back to the screen on how you convert an SRT file to a different format.
All right, Carrie, I'll let you take over this slide.
Okay, I know that was a lot of information. Like I said, there's lots of tutorials that you can find on how to do that. I'm also happy to be a resource. If you want to use AJSUB to caption something, feel free to reach out to me and I can answer any questions. I'm going to try to pull up this website. It's a good website for file converting. It's called subtitletools.com. So I'm going to pull that up, and then Eileen, I wonder if can I share my screen?
Yeah, you sure can. You should be able to do that. If you could take just a couple minutes to do that. Let's see, do you know how to share your screen?
Yeah,
I'm going to need to stop sharing so that you can take it.
Okay, do you see that?
It says it's starting to share your screen. Yep, there it is.
Okay, so this is subtitletools.com. It's a great converter or file converter site. So you can see here it says convert to SRT. So if you have, say you had something captioned by a real-time captioner and they send you a .scc file and you need that converted to an SRT, you can do that here. You can take an SRT and convert it to the web VTT, which I think Eileen can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think YouTube might like the VTT, or maybe it was PowerPoint. I'm not sure.
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint, okay. And then if you have an SRT file that maybe a captioner or somebody has sent you and you don't want the timings on it, you just want a straight text file, this here gives you the option to do that as well. So, boy, I don't know if I have a text file here. I'll just click this. You can choose your file. It'll take you to your file manager. I'm not sure, this might be a text file. So I can click that and ask it to convert it to an SRT. It converts it and then you can download it here to your computer. So that's just a good file converter if you have something in a format and you need a different format for a different platform. So I'm going to stop sharing and look at the questions here. Luke asks, what do we save it in when done? So I hope I answered that in the video. AJSUB, it saves it as a .ass file, but you can export it as an SRT. I don't believe it allows you to export a VTT, but you can use that website I just showed you to convert it to a different file format. And then there's a question about what is my email address. And I think Eileen has a slide at the end of this presentation that shows my contact information. So feel free to reach out. As we watched that video, you could see that we had it captioned, open caption, and we utilized YouTube's auto captioning for that. And I went in and just edited it. And there are some things I definitely would tweak. Like I would pull it into AJSUB and tweak some things so that each speaker ID starts on its own new line and that the environmental sounds are on its own line. So that AJSUB just sort of gives you a little bit more control over tweaking your timings and the way things are going to appear. So I think that's it from my demo. So I'll throw it back over to you, Eileen, to go through the YouTube and Facebook methods.
Great. Oh, thank you so much, Carrie. All right, so that is the ultimate captioning tool that's free, that you can customize, and that has a lot more flexibility for perfecting your transcript and final outcome. But you might not have access to that yet. You might have some other tools that you can use. YouTube, we've already referred to a couple of times, is a definite resource. If you have an account or want to open one, it's free. It offers 4 different ways for you to do captions, and I will walk you through a couple of them. One is if you have the SRT file already made, like for example, it's like this type of deal that we're doing right here for you is a meeting that's going to be recorded, that's captioned, and the outcome of that is the captioner will provide me with a transcript, so then I can upload the recording of this webinar with that transcript to YouTube simultaneously as a sidecar file. And what's nice about YouTube is you can go in and edit that, and I'll show you. You can also use the auto-generated captioning function on YouTube. You have to specify language. I think Luke asked that question. YouTube has a ton of languages to choose from. It should be what the video is in. You can also add other translations to go along with that. So that's kind of a nice feature with YouTube. You can also manually type it in, or you can copy and paste. If you just have the transcript itself, just the words without timing assigned, you can copy and paste that into the subtitle section, and I'll briefly show you that, where you would do that. The big bonus with YouTube is that the end result is you can produce a transcript that could either be the VTT file or the SRT file. That's what Carrie had mentioned. And the VTT file is what you just observed having been inserted into a PowerPoint file with the video. That's what you just watched. So it is open caption. So it's in place in one location for the video. Now with Facebook, if you have a Facebook page, you are also able to caption a video file that you upload. And it is not, it's not as sophisticated as YouTube, and you're not going to produce an outcome of a transcript. But if you have a transcript, or if you want to use auto-generated captionings, you can caption your video. And with Facebook as YouTube, you have to specify the language, and I'll show you where that is. If you upload an SRT file transcript with your Facebook video, you have to name it specifically the traditional way that an SRT file is named. And I have that here on the screen in yellow. It would be the file name dot and then the language and country code. So it's going to be for English and USA, it's going to be file name dot small letters EN underscore capital letters US. And they also offer an option to manually type in transcripts. I can tell you it's not as fluid as YouTube. So I wouldn't recommend you spend a lot of time doing edits in here. But most likely my experience I can share with you has been with Facebook and YouTube that it's been fairly accurate. It's picked up the words properly, not a lot of mispronunciations, and that it has also got the timing assigned very, very accurately. So I'm really impressed with how these two platforms have improved over time. I've worked with YouTube for several years. At the beginning, when I started working with it, it would crash on you. And now you can walk away from it, not having saved it, and come back to it and it's still there. So there's so much improvement that's gone on. Let's see, one last thing before I move on, and I'm going to give you a demonstration of these two, is with Facebook, if you can't see the captions or somebody that's watching your video that you captioned saying that, it's most likely because the captioning option has not been set up in the personal account. And so in my next screen here on the PowerPoint, I'm going to show you what that looks like. You would have to go into the personal account, that person, or if it's your account, you can't see it, go into the settings function. And there's usually a long list on the left-hand side. At the very bottom would be video settings. And when you select that, this is the screen you see. And you would select the always show captions option. It's got a toggle button. It's either on or off. So make sure it's turned on. And you can also control the visibility of your captions with the contrast. So it can be black and white, or gray and white would be some options you might have to select from. So a little bit there of flexibility. That's been there for many years. But if this is something that you get a question on, then you know this is advice you can give them. All right, so I'm going to now stop sharing the PowerPoint and move on to showing you YouTube and Facebook. And this is probably going to go a little bit longer than an hour. So if any of you need to leave, I understand, but there is going to be a raffle. If you can hang on at the end, those that are here will be able to benefit from participating in that. One lucky winner will win a robotic pet. So, okay, so this is a YouTube channel. This is our YouTube channel at Missouri Assistive Technology. And how would you go about uploading a video and captioning it? And that's what I want to show you now. There's two ways you can do that. You can go into the Manage Videos tab, which is over here. I like to go through the studio to do this. And so it's the little profile picture on your YouTube page. You click that with, I'm using a left click button, and I'm selecting YouTube Studio. And it takes you to the dashboard. So it's kind of the main area of the studio. And you would upload a video up here in the top right-hand corner. It's a little icon that's an up arrow with a line under it. Over time, the platforms change, so the location might be different, but the concept is going to be the same. You just need to find how you upload a video, and you're going to select the video file. And here I'm going to select this video, and it's going to upload. And so with YouTube, it goes through several processes. It uploads, it checks for HD compatibility, high quality compatibility. It also checks for copyright. So while it's doing that, you have, you can fill out the details of your video. You can give it a title. You can fill out the description someone will see about the video. Thumbnails will be produced. You can select that for what they see, and so forth. And for the purpose of our demonstration, I'm going to move past all of that. There's two things you have to do on this section. One is you have to say if the video is made for kids or not. And ours is not specifically made for kids, so I'll mark no. If you don't mark that, you can't move past into the next section. So that's why it's important to know you have to mark that. Now in the show more section, this is a link. You open that, more things expand. And down here is the language option. This is where you'd have to select the language your video is in. This is a recent change actually that YouTube has made in terms of that it's automatically assuming that your video is in English because I'm assuming that because we already have an account and we have most of our videos in English, or by the location of our address, this is what they're assuming. If you don't have that populate, you have to select some language. And so there's a variety, there's a scroll bar here. There's a ton of languages. We will use English United States. And so those are the two things here you have to do, and then you can move on to the next screen. You also have a toggling option up here. There's always more than one way to get somewhere, right? But for the demonstration, I'll probably kind of show you how I do it. Now, in this screen, since the video has already been uploaded, even though it's still processing stuff, you can add your subtitles here. This is a new feature that they've added. And so if you have that SRT file, you can upload it here. The auto sync option is if you have the text, but you don't have timing assigned, so you can copy and paste it in there, you can do that. I think of an example that might work is if somebody has a script that the speaker followed specifically and there is no other, like no background sounds or anything, so purely is what's the audio of the video, then you can copy and paste it in there and then work with YouTube to assign timings. And that there's a processing period that occurs. You have to come back later and check your timing and see if it's done. Same thing with typing it in manually. That would be another option. Now, I'm not going to go into each of those things. I'm going to now show you this option to upload the file. It would be an SRT format. And you're going to select the timing. With an SRT, there is usually timing assigned. So I'm assuming there's usually timing assigned. We're going to select continue. And I'm going to grab that file. I name that with the language code there. And it will automatically populate into the section that shows the timing breakdown. And so you've got the captions of your text here in the caption boxes, and you have the timing assigned over here. And this is really nice because you can manually change the numbers if you need to. You always want to make sure that the ending time block here where it says 0607, I think that's seconds and nanoseconds, that flows into the beginning of the next caption. Otherwise they'll overlap. So here you see it can be the same actual series of numbers, or it could be slightly later in the time on the beginning of the next caption. So that's a little bit about this orientation. There's a trash can right here, and that is a very sensitive trash can. I can tell you from experience, if your mouse hovers over that and you accidentally touch that mouse, you will delete that caption and you will have to re-enter it. So just be aware that that trash can is definitely there to do its job. So stay away from it. You also can play the video. Here's a play button, and while you're checking your captions and the timing, you can listen along. This is a nice little gift they give you. It's a pause while you're typing. And so you would just click on in the middle of the box there. And so as you're typing in the captioning, it will pause. You just need to hit play again to get going. And then YouTube also offers you keyboard shortcuts. You click on this link and it pops up some options. So if you're used to using keyboard shortcuts to get around and make things easier, that's what would work here in their YouTube studio. Down below is the sound bites and the transcript as it travels across that. It is not as sophisticated looking as InJSub. It's very tiny. It doesn't usually get any larger than what you're seeing here. Frankly, I don't spend any time looking at that because this is really functional on the top section. And so that's what I work with. Now, if you wanted to first look at the text of your transcript, you would toggle into that. Let me go back and see what it was called, edit as text. And honestly, when you use the other options, this is the first box that pops up, the other options of auto-generated captioning and typing in your own. This is the first box you'll see. So it's just a pure box of text, and you can come in it and edit anything that needs to be done. So that's people's names, organization, spelling of their names, mispronunciation of words. These are all kinds of things you can visually scan for and pick up easily without having to play the video. And then also websites. See down at the bottom, we have a website name here. Since this caption was already done and edited, it's not a concern. What you do see here though, like I use Grammarly, the Chrome app, to catch grammar and spelling errors. And so it's highlighted that for me as an area of change need. I would only change that if it matches what the person said. Otherwise, you leave it alone. But it's nice to have that visual check to see, do I need to look at something there? So that's a little bit about that. You can spend time editing in here in the text box, or toggle back over to edit timing, or you can make changes in here. One thing I want to show you is that you can see how the words are kind of spread out over 3 lines, and assistive is all by itself over there. You can use the delete key once to move the line below it up. So I would put my cursor behind the word assistive. I think I have there's a space right there. So I'd leave a space and then hit delete, and then it moves that line up. So it just tightens things up a little bit. You can feel comfortable doing that. I don't mess much more with anything in this area, because when it plays, it's actually, it may look slightly different. This is a condensed size of the screen. When you are ready to take a break from this, or you're done, you can either save it or you can select done. I'm going to just cancel out of this right now and show you a little bit more about where we're at. So I'm taking you back to, we've uploaded the video. You would also need to move through the next couple screens. The next screen is just knowing that they've checked for copyright issues, and if you own the video, there should never be a concern on that. And then the last piece is visibility when you're setting up the video. I select private when I'm working on captions, because until it's ready to be published, it's not ready for primetime viewing as far as I'm concerned, and you can change that. So I would save that here. And so now you wonder, where did the video go? It went to the content list of all the other videos that are uploaded. And so over here on the left side is kind of a toggle option to get to see all your videos. And when you have finished your captions and you want to change the private status, you could do it right here. Here's our video, and there's a little down arrow. You can select that and make it public. So that way you will always be able to then produce, your final end result. Now I've done a couple of other pre-recorded, or I've uploaded some of the same video because I want to show you the status. So with auto-generated captioning, it takes a while for YouTube to generate that caption for you. So right now, as I've uploaded this video and I've saved it, the auto-generated request has been placed. And so at some point it will be completed. It can take a couple of hours or maybe the next day. So if you choose to use auto-generated captioning in YouTube, don't, plan on uploading it before you're actually going to do the work. Let me show you what it looks like so you know in the subtitle section of that video if it's ready or not. So I'm going to click on what we just uploaded, and I'm going to scroll through here, and this is all the details about the video. The subtitle page is right here. So there'll be a couple of different line items. This line right here tells you that you've just uploaded the video, that there's no subtitles that have been completed yet because we're going to do the auto-generated function. If you'd have added the transcript, that would have been different. So let's go to a video that's been uploaded for a while, which is this one. And let's go to the subtitle page for that one. It's been in for a couple of days. This is what it would look like next when the auto-generated captioning has been produced for you. It says published automatic. That means the auto-generated captions are available for you to edit. And this is the link that you would click to get to that. And so see how it takes you to the text box. And so this is the unedited version of what you just looked at. So we would need to go in and make those changes for spelling and if the website needed to be done differently in any, words that are mispronounced. And you could also toggle into the timing and do it in there. So I'm going to cancel out of that because I'm just showing you the stages of what you would see after the auto-generated is ready. Once you have, I'm going to now go to a video that's had the captions completed for the same video. And we've got all of the details ready to go on this detail page. We're going to go to the subtitles, and it has been edited by me. So it's in a draft form because I saved it as a draft. And I can either go back and continue to edit it or I can publish it. And that's what I'm going to do now because I know it's ready to go. And it is published. And so see where it says right there, published by creator. So here's the whole purpose of doing it. If you are going to now upload it to Facebook is go to these three little dots and open those options. And here will be the download for the transcript. And when you select that, you get to pick which file format you want. And if you select the SRT, it's going to go to your download folder. And I would recommend that this is how I do it. If it saves you time and tasks, is go into your download folder and just rename it. It's going to be named Captions, and you can just rename it whatever the file is. Like here, it's reuse dot your language code. So .en, small letters, underscore, capital U, capital S. And so then it's named and it's ready to go for you to upload to Facebook. So I'm going to move into Facebook and show you how that might work. Here is our Facebook page. And with Facebook, they have a manage tool function. If you're the administrator, you can see these tools over here on the left. And you would scroll down to publishing tools. And it takes a second for it to open. And what we're getting to is the Creator Studio. So both YouTube and Facebook use this term studio. And you're going to select, you're going to select Creator Studio, and it will open up to where you can create posts. And there's always two ways you can do something, right? You can create your post here and attach the video, or you can go up to this Create New button. And it seems like it takes out one step of tasks you have to do if you go the other way. So this is kind of what I've been doing. I go to Create New up here at the left-hand corner, and it opens up options for you to add things. I'm going to upload the video, and let's select our reuse program video. And it'll take a second, it'll open a whole new page. And I'm going to take away that message. So here we have kind of similar to what we saw with YouTube. There's a detail page where you're going to write out all the details about your video. So we're going to call it reuse. So that's the title that will show when it's finally published. Now this section where the icon is is actually your content of the video, like you would create a regular post. And so we just type whatever it is you'd like to do, have on your, what you would like to have on your content. And gives you options to a box there for you to place tags if you use tags on your Facebook post. Now here is the thumbnail of the video that it's uploaded, and you will want to select the language here. This is the spot. So you would tap on that option, and it gives you an edit box. And if you just start typing your language, it'll automatically guess what it is that you want. So I'm going to select English, and so it's assigned. So I don't have to worry anymore about that. This edit video over here has, as far as I know, nothing to do with access. It's just like trimming it and so forth. If you, for both Facebook and for YouTube, if you need to edit your video, do that outside of this whole captioning process. You would want to caption your final version. That would be a big tip I would give to you if that is something you're responsible for doing all of that. You can use whatever tools you use to edit. If you use YouTube, that's fine, and then save it, download the edited version, and then upload the edited version and caption that, if that's helpful for you. So, all right, so here on Facebook, you would now move over to the right-hand side. There's, we're on the video details page. We're going to go to the captions page, and we're going to click this option on. I'm going to turn this off here. Well, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to show you, the auto-generated function. So here you have a choice to do auto-generated captions, and it asks you if you want a chance to review it before it sends it out. And so, yes, I do. And you can have another choice here to upload your transcript, or you could write your own while you listen to, you can type it out while you listen. So auto-generated captions looks like this. You've got your status bar at the bottom. It shows the video has been uploaded. It shows the captions have been generated. It also has a section where it says added captions here. And this gives us a rating of the accuracy of its caption, and it's a high rating. There's a couple things that go into getting that type of accuracy. One is the speaker's pronunciation, their pace, if they pause. Those things make it more successful. The quality of the sound makes it more successful. So if you are working with an individual that is presenting in the video that has less than a quality sound, or the pronunciation of words is not clear, you might want to work in YouTube to upload your video and caption it that way. That way you have more control over your editing tools. Facebook really isn't good for that. So, all right, well, just a little bit about that. And then here is the option to go in and review the captions. And so this is what it looks like for the auto-generated captioning, if you choose that option. And you definitely would want to go in and edit that. So you have the viewing option of the video over here on the left, and all the captions have already been broken out into the caption chunks in the text boxes, and they've already assigned timing to it. You can adjust the timing by selecting this option here, and you can use the numerical changes. It's just a guess though, because there's no way for you to see that timeline. There's no sound waves down here for you to watch. So that's why I'm saying it's not as sophisticated, obviously, as the one that Carrie showed you with Angisub, or even YouTube. I think YouTube has a little bit more control, but it really does a really good job. Like, what I will tell you is obvious spellings. They got Scout's name spelled correctly, but only part of our agency's name is capitalized. And then down at the bottom, there's another scroll bar here you have to grab to scroll all the way down, is website names. So a URL address could be spelled out literally as it's pronounced. So with Scout said dot in there, and so it's spelled out DOT. And we want them to come to Missouri Assistive Technology and not the Department of Transportation. So I would change that, and I would take it off of breaking it up over two text boxes. So So that's a little bit about how you can edit that and then play it. And let's go ahead and play this.
Hello, this is Scout from Missouri Assistive Technology, and it is almost Earth Day, and that's a great time to think about how we can reduce, reuse, and recycle.
So a couple things here, you don't see the captioning shown, and you don't know that it's scrolling through there. And there may be something about these up here that I haven't explored yet. I'm still learning how to use this properly, but for this orientation, at least you get in there and see what it looks like, and I'll give you a chance to learn how to do those details. I'm going to cancel out of this. I'm not going to save it because I'm going to take one last step to show you how to upload it with a actual transcript. So we're going to go back here. We're going to create it as new. I'm going to select the file. And since we have I'm going to scoot over here real quick and turn off the auto-generated captions because I want to show you how to upload the actual transcript itself. And this will become an actual Facebook post here. So and that's the sound of me typing. All right, so Scout Mary is going to share a little bit about our reuse program. All right, and then we're going to, remember, select the language here, and it's going to be English. And now we're going to go to the captions option on the right-hand side, and I'm going to select to upload the Srt file. And I've already got it renamed since it was renamed in the download folder. I just moved it over for here today and into another folder, and it's instantaneous. So I don't know if you noticed the difference, but remember I mentioned with YouTube, like the auto-generated, there's a long delay with getting that completed for you before you can get in there and work on it. With Facebook, did you see that difference with the auto-generated? What I just demonstrated for you was instantaneous. Really, it took no more than under probably 30 seconds. And with the transcript, it's instantaneous. So really impressed with how Facebook has done that. Now, this is what it looks like when you open it up and you've inserted your Srt transcript. So remember, it's a sidecar file, so it just grabs everything that's on there, including the timing. That's why it's probably instantaneous. And the video player now shows here slightly differently. It has the timing and the words shown as it would scroll through. Before I show you this and play it, you would tap into the text box underneath the timing section, because as soon as I tap on that, it's going to start playing. And then it'll stop, and you can jump to each one of these text boxes here down at the bottom of the video. So let me show you how that works.
Hello, this is Scout from Missouri Assistive Technology, and it is almost Earth Day.
And so the timing, if you need slight adjustments, you can nudge it right or left with your mouse, moving these text boxes over if for some reason the timing is slightly off, or you can change the numbers, adjust the numbers over here by clicking on the actual timing, the beginning and the end of the captions. However, if it's an uploaded transcript, it should be pretty on spot. You shouldn't have to really mess with it, but it's always good to play it and watch and make sure. I have already reviewed that, so we don't need to make any changes. So I'm going to cancel out of that because, oh, exit without change. Nope, I'm going to save it. I must have done something it thought was a change. All right, so that's ready to go. So we're going to move on to publishing this. So you would hit the next box and you get a couple of options to publish it now, to schedule it, or save it as a draft. So we're just going to go ahead and publish it now, and I'm going to hit that button, and it should take a second here it'll tell us the video is processing. It takes you to that Creator Studio, and if we go to the video section, it should be published or in the midst of doing that. So that is a little bit about Facebook and how to use their auto-generated option for captions, as well as uploading a transcript. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and go back to the PowerPoint. I know I covered a lot very quickly, but I'm trying to stay close to the time for you.
And Eileen, we do have a question in the chat box.
Okay.
Claudia asks, if you've already captioned a video in YouTube, what would be the advantage of creating the captions again in Facebook versus sharing the YouTube video?
That's a good question. I mean, both get to it being accessible because the link takes the individual to your channel where you've already done the captions. So that's fine. It is just a matter of preference. If you want to upload your video, if you own the file and you want to upload it as an individual post, this is just a way to ensure that you have the ability to caption it. And you can use your YouTube account to pull down that SRT transcript and then attach it to the video file in Facebook. So it's just another way to ensure that that video that you are using separately as a post on Facebook is captioned.
And I might just jump in real quick here and just, so basically we've shown you 3 different ways to do the same thing today, right? So we're getting to the same endpoint no matter which method you use to get there. So yes, if you've captioned a video in YouTube, I think what we were hoping to demonstrate is that you can then take that same caption file that you've created in YouTube and upload it to your Facebook if you post your video also to Facebook or even to Vimeo. And even if they require different file types for those caption files, you can use either the file converter website that I showed or the methods that Eileen demonstrated to convert those files to the preferred format. And I would just also point out, I think it's worth mentioning again, I think Eileen said, but if you use the auto-generated captions from YouTube or Facebook, there is definitely some value and benefit into using those, but just make sure that they're edited before you would publish those. You want to just read through and make sure that you've added the punctuation, that you've added speaker IDs, that words have been capitalized, and then add the environmental sounds so that your viewers who might be deaf or English language learners can, if there's music playing or if there's a phone ringing or if there's a dog barking, that you add those, because the auto generated is not going to create those. And then just also something from, if you have an event real-time captioned, you can request from your caption provider that they send you that caption file either as a text, that you can also use that to create your captions for your offline videos. Your caption provider can send you a text file. If they know in advance, they can create an SRT file for you. That is something I have to know in advance that you want an SRT, because I write differently. I caption things in shorter lines. I break them up into shorter lines as I'm captioning real time if I know that they're going to be uploaded as an SRT afterwards. But your real-time caption provider can also be a resource for providing you that, so that you don't have to type that text out yourself or rely on the auto-generated text to be used for your offline videos.
Thank you, Carrie. And I want to thank you for being here, Carrie, because this is away from your normal day's duties, and to have your input on this task is so important and valuable. So thank you for being here. And here is contact information if you do want to reach out to Carrie, learn more about her services. I know she works with a lot of state agencies, so she may or may not be familiar to you, but there's her phone number and her email address. I also want to acknowledge the special appearance by Scout Mary. He's one of our program coordinators. And I want to thank him because he made those 2 videos that we used today specifically for this project. And it also is a great way to learn about the programs that he manages. So thank you. Now we're going to do a couple of things here real quick.